Are you planning a women's empowerment event? If so, then this video is going to help you design, fill, and monetize this event so you can grow your influence, your income, and your impact. Planning a women's empowerment event can be an incredibly fulfilling and powerful experience. I should know because I've done many of them. I also know that it can also be an exhausting experience. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you what it takes to do it in a way that's energy rich with grace and ease. First and foremost, by my definition, planning a women's empowerment involves designing the event, planning the event, delivering the event, and profiting from the event so that you can take this event and either magnify it and make it bigger or multiply it and take it into new markets. So here are 6 things that you want to consider right now up front before you start getting into the deep planning process to help make your event more successful and more impactful. The first is coming up with a great name and theme. So when I started doing my women's empowerment event, I called it the Women's Success Summit. And then we did this event 11 different times. And every single time we came up with a different theme for it. Some of the themes were time to shine, from passion to purpose, the big close, show me the money. So each time we did this one Women's Success Summit event, we had a different theme. And I invite you to consider doing yours that way, rather than having a different name every time you do the event, or just having a single name each time without a theme. So this way you get the best of both worlds. It's something consistent and stable that people recognize, and also it's exciting and new every single time. The second thing to think about is to enroll supporters, collaborators. I know that the first several times I did my Women's Success Summit, I did it by myself. And that was really hard and really exhausting, and part of the reason I eventually burnt out. Towards the end, though, I figured out that if I enrolled and enlisted some collaborators as a board of advisors, then I had more people out in the world spreading the word about my event. They would refer me opportunities, they would introduce me to potential partners, they would bring friends with them to the event, and sometimes they even became sponsors themselves. So I highly recommend, as you get started, getting clear about what that vision is about your event, and then letting everybody you know about it and say, hey, is anybody here interested in helping me out, in volunteering, in being a part of this thing? The third thing to think about is your revenue model. Putting together an event like this can be really expensive. And so to mitigate some of those costs, you need to have revenue streams. Here are 3 revenue streams that I love that are easy-ish and that can really help to make your event not only sustainable, but actually profitable. The first revenue stream is obviously ticket sales. And one of the things that I recommend doing as you're putting together your ticket sales is to consider creating different levels of tickets. Maybe a general admission, maybe a VIP admission, and maybe a super duper platinum admission. This way you can segment your market and you leave less money on the table. There are always people in any group of audience members, there are always people who are willing to pay more for a more exclusive experience. So go ahead and from the outset, give them the opportunity to do that. The second revenue stream that I highly recommend is sponsorships and exhibitor sales. So what a sponsor is looking for is the opportunity to connect with the audience that you're bringing together. You're doing them a huge service by pulling all these people into an event. They want to reach those people and they will pay you money in order to do so. Now, I have a whole video about how to monetize events, and I go into more depth on sponsorship and exhibitor sales. So I'm going to refer to that up there. Go ahead and click on that link if you want to watch that video. Another revenue stream that I ignored for a really long time and then rediscovered is to sell your own products and services at your event. Now, I know what can sometimes happen. I know that you're probably doing a women's empowerment event because you love women and you want to help them step up into their full glory and leadership. And it's also important for you to step into your full glory and leadership. And one way to do that is to have a thriving business. So don't be ashamed to sell your products and services at your event. Go ahead and do it with pride, knowing that you're delivering so much value to this audience that there's definitely going to be people in the room who are going to want more. The next thing to think about is the actual production of your event. And this is where my eyes glass over. I do not enjoy producing and nitty-gritty details. I don't know about you, but when it comes to production, my eyes start to glaze over. I do not like doing the nitty-gritty organizational details involved with putting on an event. And if you're anything like me and you'd rather be on the stage than behind it, then I highly recommend that you hire someone to support you with the logistics. What that looks like is paying an event planner to help you negotiate the venue, organize the vendors, pay the bills, and do all the nitty-gritty details that I certainly don't like to do, and you probably don't either. The best role for you in this event is the one that you enjoy most and where you add the most value. So knowing who you are and what you're great at and focusing on that is a really big part of being successful in running a women's empowerment event. One of my favorite ways to promote an event is to secure event promotion partners. Now, these are like sponsors, but instead of paying you money, they pay you by promoting your event to their audience. So when I started my Women's Success Summit, I went to the Miami Beach Chamber, I went to the Coral Gables Chamber, I went to the Women's Chamber, I went to all these chambers and associations and said, hey, how would you like us to promote you at this big event that we're gonna fill up with women? And they all said, we'd love that. And I say, how would you like me to give you a table so you can sign women up to come check out your chamber? We'd love that. Okay, all you have to do is promote the event to your audience. Send out a couple emails, here's a stack of flyers. That's it. And so we were able to pull women from all these different communities and cross-pollinate them in our event. So having event promotion partners is really powerful. You can also do the same with radio stations. Did you know that radio stations love to get free tickets and then they give them away on the air? I'm sure you've heard radio stations giving away concert tickets, but you may not realize that they'll also give away tickets to conferences and events all the time. Obviously, another great way to promote your event is through social media. And this is kind of a long-term strategy as well as a short-term. In the short term, you can obviously post about your event and you can buy Facebook ads, and we love and do all of those things. But as a long-term strategy, what you also might want to do is start gathering a group of people, a tribe, where you're engaging consistently over time such that when you do have an event, those people are already warm and primed and ready to go. Some tactics that you can use in order to encourage more people to come is the moment that someone does register for the event is to follow up and offer them a bring a friend pass. A bring a friend pass is an opportunity for them to enroll someone in coming with them so they can have a buddy on site with them and they can get a special deal on that second ticket. And so you can do this again and again because then when they bring a friend, you can offer the bring a friend to bring a friend. And this goes a long way toward creating and seeding your event with people who are already connected, who already like and care about each other, and will get excited at hanging out together and meeting new people together. So this is a great way to start building your community. Last but certainly not least is probably the most important part of your event. And it's the one that's going to make the difference between people having an incredible time and wanting to come back for another event or saying, nah, that was okay. And that is your content. What's going to be in the event? What are the sessions? Who are the speakers? What activities will you be doing in your event? So some things to think about is, number one, to mix it up. One of the mistakes that I used to make and that I've seen others make is to have too much of the same thing back to back. It gets boring, it gets monotone. We want to mix it up. For example, if you have a keynote speaker in the first thing in the morning, then perhaps having a panel and or a networking activity right after. So mixing it up so that people are up and down and all around keeps the energy alive in your event. Another thing to think about is who are going to be your speakers. Now, I've done speakers a whole bunch of different ways. We've hired speakers, we've had free speakers, we've had calls for speakers. What I will say is that above and beyond everything else, you want to make sure that you see video of your speakers, that you see video of them on stage, ideally performing the exact same content that you're bringing them in to speak on at your event. I've had free speakers who are amazing, and I've had paid speakers who are terrible, and vice versa. So the most important thing is to just vet your speaker. Don't ever put somebody on a stage without checking them out first. Another thing to consider is creating panels, especially success panels. Success panels are really helpful if you're going to offer your own products and services at your event. So for example, when I sell our retreats or our inner circle coaching programs at our events, I always bring up about 5 clients and sit them on the stage and let them share what they've learned that has helped them the most as they've built and grown their businesses. Now, I'm not asking them to give testimonials, because who wants to sit there and listen to an hour-long panel of testimonials? But I'm asking them to deliver value to the audience. And then, of course, implicit in the value is the fact that these are things and techniques and strategies that they picked up through working with me. Finally, you'll want to think about who's going to MC your event. Chances are it's going to be you, but make sure that you have an MC that has high energy and that knows how to work a room, knows how to tap dance when things aren't going quite right, knows how to roll with it when there are problems, and knows how to pretty much keep the energy level in your event up. So those are the most important things that I think, and I found in my experience, go into planning a women's empowerment event. If you want to learn more about how we can help you build and grow your women's empowerment event or your business, then go ahead and click on the link below and sign up to have a discovery call with one of my lead coaches. We can help you identify what the best next steps are for you and explore if and how we might be able to help you with that. Whether you work with us or not, our mission is to serve and support you.